y'all, Kelly of Kelbell Studio here with the November edition of the Paper Corset Diaries. And when I originally posted this little beauty on my blog, I said I hadn't thought of a name, but I'm going to call her Nellie. And in fact, Nellie is one of the top 25 girl names of 1880. Isn't that interesting? Just a little bit of trivia there for you. This one is adorable. Oops, I really like this. This is going to be your template for November. I will leave a link to this in the description part of this video and also on my blog so that you can go ahead and grab this. I've done something a little bit different this time. This one has an inspiration section instead of a note section because I'm going to give you a little pocket that you can put here and keep some little scraps of paper, you know, little bits of ephemera or even swatches to use while making your corset. I don't know, maybe you have like little bits of paper laying around. I know that I am a scrap junkie because I think I save every little bit of paper, but you know, you never know when those are gonna come in handy, and they usually do for me. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. So this is how my corset shapes up. This is my Peasant corset, cut down lower in the front and in the shape of some little faux panties down here. So the first thing I'm going to start with is some scrap. I love this lace because I don't like this hard edge. And sometimes this works to our advantage. Sometimes it's just goes really well as part of the corset element. But just to take off the edge a little bit, I'm just going to put some of this around it, and it just kind of, it's not so in your face that it sticks out at you. I mean, you can even barely see it on the camera. Just enough to give it a more finished look. So that's what I'm going to do first, and then we'll work on the rest of her. So once I've got this edged, it's got a finished, actually I should say a tattered but finished look. Kind of an aged, worn look, which we like, or at least I like. You probably do too. Or you probably wouldn't be watching, right? So anyway, that is how she looks. So now we can start putting on the... It's not going to be a skirt, because what I wanted to do with this one is make it look like she had maybe just a little bit of panty, so it's going to be kind of a rough... Well, guess what? I'll just show you. That's the beauty of video, right? I've got a little, some more of that antique lace that I have edged her with, the top and the bottom. And I'm just using a little piece right now, just so I can show you what this is going to look like. And this is just cream colored paper that has been, give it a decal edge, and it's crumpled so it has a more fabric-like texture to it. And then I'm just going to put this up underneath this little piece of lace, and it's barely going to stick out on the bottom, so it's going to look something like that. Just going to gather it. So everything's just going to have a little gather to it. I know it's kind of a mess right now. It'll be tucked up underneath. And it's going to be, this is going to be very short, because I don't really want it to look like a skirt, so. Something rather like this. And then we'll just make it come up on the other side. I'll do this off camera and it'll be all nice and pretty by the time you see it again. But these are little faux panties there. Cute, huh? I like it. I've got the first little ruffle on her, and I gave it just a little pinch here to kind of complete that little panty look, which I think it kind of does, sort of suggests it. And I'm ready to add my other layer of lace underneath. So I'm doing this very loosely. I'm not measuring anything. Basically putting the glue on up underneath here and then just sticking it on, and it sticks where it may stick, you know. The glue that I'm using is one of those things, it's Fabri-Tac. Using this Fabri-Tac glue. Awesome stuff. But once it's down, it's down. So it's not like it's very forgiving or repositionable or anything, so you probably should get used to being happy with where stuff sticks. So when I put this on up underneath like this, just gives it, it's going to stick out a little bit, which is what I want. And it's going to complete the bottom of this little corset. Can you see that? Kind of, I guess. She's looking good. Okay, you can see that she's looking very aged and like she has just a little bit of undies coming out from under this. And there really isn't much that we have left to do on this. We're going to add some garters and some straps onto the top. Maybe a little embellishment here, you know me, and my roses. That could look pretty. In fact, let's see how that might look. Put one on there now. Little rose. So, yeah. So meanwhile, I decided that rather than put a rose up here, I was going to put this ribbon, which I like. Which meant that the garters are made out of the same ribbon, and all these are is, it's just a length of ribbon that I've cut, and I glued a little pearl to it. And if you're wondering why I didn't sew it on, I tried to sew it on and the needle wouldn't go all the way through, so that's how that came about. Anyway, what do I have left to do? We have the laces up the back, and then we can put on this nice pretty embellishment after we put on the straps, of course, and we're gonna call her done. So we're just about there. So here's how our Miss November shapes up. I think she's absolutely adorable. Little garters and laced her up. This is seam binding. I think it was a 1/2-inch seam binding that I ripped in half, so it's practically disintegrating. But it completes the look, I think. So I'm going to grab a little hanger. You can see how this looks hung. So if you can make a little hanger, I've painted this one white. Adorable. So I hope you enjoyed this installment of the paper wardrobe project, or paper couture, paper corset diaries. Confusing myself. I hope you've enjoyed this installment. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.